Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the UKLC. We're getting ready to go into game number 3 of the day, and that is going to be Resolve versus Viperio. Viperio, honestly, showing up yesterday. 2B had a really good game. Over on the side of Resolve, though, they had an incredibly one-sided and a very dominant victory over London. So this is going to be a hard game for Viperio.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And let's see, if Resolve do keep up that same level of pace and understanding that they seem to have of their win conditions yesterday, whether Viperio can actually, stay in the same lane with them, because, it did look relatively like it was going to be a pretty quick game yesterday until the draft differences started to kind of occur, where the carries of Viperio just couldn't be touched because there was no hard engage, and it didn't matter how fed some of the divers were. Envision never found those angles to actually attack Kumkum and Dobby. So if that occurs here again, then maybe they can take over the game, but it will be an uphill battle. I'm most likely expecting it for Viperio, given yesterday's performances.
Well, we're into picks and bans, and the set has been taken away so far. We'll see what's going to be next. The Gwen pretty much expected. It's been the first ban pretty much every game, all split. I know we're only 2 days in, but shut up. The Nocturne has also been taken away. Seen a lot of that today, actually, and it's been something that's been ruined its head a fair amount. Something else that has kind of been able to get played today is that Rumble, which has also been taken away. So far, the ban phase pretty typical, as we'll be rounding out with the Fresh from the side of Resolve, and then the Varus from Viperio. This does mean things like the Udyr are open, the Tristana is open, the Karma, which is very high priority in this league at the moment, is open as well.
Yeah, we've seen it be won by Envision, actually. So Resolve taking a page out of their book. Let's see if they make it work better than Envision were able to, because, of course, Viperio dealt with this opener yesterday, and, of course, Resolve drafted Envision drafted not a lot of engage with it, and Viperio fared pretty well. But let's see, this time we're going to get that Renekton lock-in, something that we've seen sort of banned almost consistently throughout the opening days of the NLC and UKLC respectively. Through here this time though, and also locking in Kukum's Jinx once again, meaning they will give over the Udyr. But let's see what the jungle choice will be for Johnny Rico. I'm expecting it to be the jungle, just because you don't want it to be pinched out too far, and Lucian is what picked up for likely Otto.
The Elise lock in here. I mean, they need an AP mid, like AP jungler, so that's what they're going to lock in. But I actually want to date on Kumkum's Jinx, because that is one which, we saw a lot of attention on over in the NLC over the last few weeks. But in the UKLC, in the UKLC, they haven't really put so much focus on it. It did obviously get a series of nerfs to it, but we saw a lot of the players in the UKLC and the NLC actually still think it was a pretty strong pick, so it was getting picked up a lot there. It feels like the UKLC, it's definitely further down that priority pick. Now, we'll see what the answer is going to be to this. The Nautilus and the Ezreal get banned away, along with that Gragas as Resolve look for their final ban.
Yeah, let's see what happens here with the Jinx. I'm specifically curious to see what support they will pair it with. I want to talk about a little bit about the Elise, to be honest with you, because it's a champion that we don't see in pro play too often. It is still actually pretty strong. It's so strong actually that it recently got hit with some nerfs, funnily enough. So it's still very capable of doing Renekton and Elise things. So expecting Johnny Rico to probably hit up a 3 camp or a 4 camp into this Renekton lane and try and bully whoever Kenrira does lock in. Towards the bans, Ezreal, Gragas, Nautilus, Twisted Fate actually removed away from Resolve Academy. So they don't want Viperio to have this incredibly strong top side. Yeah, I was going to say I'm expecting support. They need a little bit more engage, and they're going to get that out of Leona.
All right, well, now we're looking for the final rotation here for Resolve. They're going to lock themselves a bit of engage as well, as they lock in that Ornn from the top side. So they can kind of just absorb the Renekton lane, unless that Renekton goes mid, although I think Renekton solution would be a rough one. So most likely you're going to see that Renekton go in the top lane, looking for their support. They're going to lock in the Braum here. So actually, it's going to be the Lucian bot lane and Karma mid.
Yeah, I don't mind this pivot. It does give Viperio the opportunity to potentially lock in something a little more hyper-scaling, just because the Elise already has 2 pretty strong lanes to play towards. The Renekton lane, of course, and whilst it is a bit of a counter lane, the bottom side too, but okay, we're just going to get a Xerath lock in again, which this time, he obviously clearly likes it. This time it's a little bit riskier into the likes of an Ornn. The Udyr can obviously run you down, but Udyr's, pathing very linear. Ornn can create a lot more pressure. Just from kind of just pulling the trigger there. But honestly, I think Viperio again strong side lanes or a strong side lane to play towards with this Renekton. And for Resolve, I mean, given how they understood how to play the game yesterday off their draft, I imagine they're just going to play heavily into skirmishing around this bottom side. They've got an Udyr and a Braum. Lucian's very scary. Karma should be able to secure power in mid lane as well, and they should probably just leave Kenru on an island to survive.
I'm going to be pretty interested about this bot lanes. Obviously, we've seen a lot of Lucian in the mid lane as of late, but it's been a while since we've seen a bot lane. I kind of think back to like the old days when we used to have Lucian Braum was like one of the strongest bot lanes at the time, where it's so easy to stack up those concussive blows. You can see that Meikyo is actually locked in the cleanse as well, so it is opting into, you know, I want to fight and I want to be able to survive the Leona CC. So it's not bad. Also, you got to keep in mind there is a Elise on the enemy team as well, so you kind of want that cleanse for that. I'm going to be curious to see what this bot mid lane's like. I think it's probably just going to be a farm fest, though, is what I'm assuming, because it's just two people with a lot of range and wave clear.
I think as far as the mid lane goes, Karma should take priority once you sort of get to that level 5 mark. The Xerath doesn't really get a whole bunch of like wave clear value until he hits sort of like Lost Chapter kind of items. So he's got a bit of mana to back up, you know, how much he wants to spam his spells and obviously the AP. So honestly, Resolve, they've got a lot of agency in their mid and their bottom side of the map. And I think Viperio with this Elise Renekton, in a meta like this, you kind of have to make it work. You have to really, really go hard, or the Elise can certainly fall off, especially into a team fighting composition like Resolve have.
Well, we have loaded into the Rift on our screen, so it won't be long till we get going into this game. It's going to be an uphill battle for Resolve. I think we've hit on this a lot, but this is definitely one of the harder teams they're going to have to play. And considering how convincing the Resolve win was in our game yesterday versus London, they have really shown off their strengths as a team, as a roster. And it's really going to be on the side of Viperio to show us what they're made of.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Johnny Rico again, of course, here today, subbing in for Dakin, who I believe, if I recall the story right, is on holiday at the moment.
Yes, I think that was what we were told yesterday.
Certainly not a terrible sub. And on this Elise pick, not a champion we see too often. Could be his final UKLC game for a little while, depending on Dakin's return. As Resolve, they were looking for a ward, very clever, to try and give their solo laners an XP advantage, but weren't quite able to. And as sort of predicted, the Elise is going to start off her pathing on the bottom side, so expect an early gank onto the Ornn, or maybe onto Aura if it can be an angle there. And we'll have to see if the Renekton tries to slow push the wave so that there's a big wave stacked up for when the Elise shows up.
Well, looks like we actually are getting an invade here. Bakako going to get spotted out by that ward. So they know this is happening. And Shielder going to see Kenruto as he moves through, thanks to the ward he placed in the tri-bush. They know that this is going on, so we might just see a bit of a split map from Johnny Rico. I'm curious to see what the Elise clear is like, because it's been a while since I've watched an Elise.
Yeah, so with the single target camps, it's about as it was before, because, you know, sometimes you would see the Hunter's Talisman when that was still live, sometimes you see the Mache. So it would be a bit of a 50-50 depending on what side she would start at. This time around, only just doing her blue clear camps for now. You can see the pace isn't too bad. She's going to finish this camp by like 2:23, 24. So not terrible clear speeds, but I certainly no Udyr or Morgana or something along those lines. But
what item does she build? I genuinely haven't seen an Elise in such a long time.
Sure. So it sort of varies between Night Harvester. Rocket Belt is also an option. I see a fair few build. I'm not sure about the conditions for these items to occur because I don't see at least enough to actually kind of know, to just be plainly honest. But still very much fulfills the same role as she did in Seasons by has to lay down early pressure onto lanes, wants to try and get a lane snowballing, wants to snowball herself to become really oppressive so they can set up vision and create pockets of fog that the enemy team has to walk into and, of course, check into cocoons, into Leonas, and into all of that chain CC.
All right, well, we'll keep our eye on Johnny Rico. We want to see this early aggression. For the moment, this bot lane Resolve are just bullying Kum and Hase, chunking them out constantly with those Winter's Bites and a little bit of poke from the Piercing Light. This is that power bot lane because Viperio know that if they go for a fight, they're probably just going to lose it. They've got the cleanse to fight into. And with the amount of CC and just burst available to this lane, it's really, really rough. As Johnny Rico will pick up this top lane crab, while Bakugo able to pick up his one.
Yep, and Bakugo gonna be an extra camp up, or technically 2. Just because there was the red steel takeaway, which Johnny Rico couldn't respond to, and now he's also going to be on a ward here. Fortunately, so Resolve Academy gonna have full information. Even baits him into stopping his recall, and he would have just seen the ward die unless he wasn't paying attention.
He wasn't paying attention.
Unless he just wants to play the waiting game, quite frankly, which could also be an option. When you are in a least, especially with the jungle camp spawning so much later now, you can kind of get away with some of these plays. You can see the Gromp only now spawn, but if this was on the previous patch, it would have been up for about 15 seconds prior. So he's now going to start losing jungle camps on the bottom side. There's priority there for Resolve anyway, so I imagine this invade, as you can see coming through from the Resolve bottom lane, would have happened, and she would have just lost their camp. So technically speaking, she's not going to lose out on a whole bunch. They could even turn this into a dive now.
Yeah, he's been spotted out by the ward. Johnny Rico knows he's going. He's got the Scryer.
Otter has TP.
Are they going to go for it? That is the question. They've got the wave, and this is Renekton at least. This is one of the best tower diving duos. Getting the cocoon off. Johnny Rico's going to tank it, repel back up, and Genruto's just too tanky, so they have to cool it off.
Yeah.
Honestly, a massive waste of time there.
Yeah, already too tanky. And fortunately for Johnny Rico, all the waiting does not pay off. He loses his Gromp on the bottom side, and now Bakugo going to steal away that one too, and could even look to get a bear slap down, try and look for a fight.
Oh, they got a lot of damage off onto Bakugo. He's able to jump away as Shelter flashes forward, goes for the lockdown, but he's knocked up underneath the tower, tries to heal with the Q, the slide out, and they got the Arcano Pulse. Also takes a fair amount of damage as he's trying to find the cocoon, gets the angle, but the minions are blocking everything for 2P. Johnny Rico has to run away. The health bars are low, the flash, the Arcano Pulse, the comet! 2P gets first blood! Beautifully placed as Johnny Rico comes in with the twin fangs, and now they're chasing for more. Teleport's coming in. Johnny Rico needs to find the cocoon. He's going to miss it. Bakugo looks for him, but the flash comes out. He gets the return kill as Shielder gets one. Otter snipes onto the backline. It's a 2 for 2 in the end of the day. Oh my lord.
What a hectic fight. It all starts off because Johnny Rico wants to try and tower dive the Ornn, and then they have to go into a retreat. And all of a sudden, Bakugo just kind of overreaches a little bit looking for the bear slap. I think, yeah, I was about to say, it's a little bit too aggressive here from the Braum.
They're looking to break this action out here, but make you very low, trying to get the lockdown with the Winter's Bite, and they got it. That's a double kill onto Kum.
That's really not ideal for the Resolve bottom lane here. Giving Jinx an early double kill when she just reset is really not great, especially when we saw what damage Kum was able to put out yesterday on this champion. Get a replay of the very extended top lane fight. Shielder just unfortunately flashes forward, isn't able to lock down Bakugo and actually secure him. Kenriro also limps away with a sliver of HP. The cocoon is actually hit by R, but the W, the Spiderling, actually blows up on the creep wave. Flash forward from Topi, and it's the comet of all things, not the actual Q itself that locks down the kill. The Phoenix dance is enough to take down Topi. An empowered Mantra Q takes down Johnny Rico. Absolute scenes in the top lane, and down here, I mean, I think Jinx is such an overstep from FGG here. He loses his life, gets Jinx excited, takes down another one as well. Now Kum well on his way to picking up that first item. Now it looks like Meiku is actually going to be going into an Essence Reaver rush. So his first item is going to be significantly cheaper than Kum. So despite falling quite significantly far behind in kills, the fact that he's actually up in CS by about 15 at the moment, albeit it will be caught up, it's not gonna feel too bad because you should still hit your first item at about the same time.
Yeah, Kum able to kind of alleviate some of that CS deficit underneath the tower here. Has got that pickaxe and double longsword, so building towards that Kraken Slayer. Getting closer and closer, like you said, Mickey working towards the Essence Reaver. Now just going to place some vision down, try and spot where Johnny Rico is on the map. As we call it, Johnny Reconnaissance.
You've had a lot of these today, haven't you?
I don't know. I don't know what's hit. I must have eaten something today. I don't know.
What have you eaten today, Jake?
What? That is a good question. Oh, so I had a chicken burger.
Nice.
I live in a village, and if you live in a village, you know there's a spa. There's always a spa in villages, and they do like hot food. And today I was like, see what they got. They had a chicken burger, and it was really tasty, actually.
Fair enough.
What did you eat?
Chicken and chips. Yeah.
Both running on that chicken right now.
Yeah. It's good.
Oh yeah, because you said the chicken hit you a bit.
Yeah, it did. And speaking of food, after this game's done during the break, maybe go grab yourself snacks. We've got one more game left.
Yeah.
Can't you remember what it is, Anna? You've written it down.
It is Lucent versus Bulldog.
There you go.
That is our final game of the day. You keep trying to catch me off. You're not going to get me on that. You're not going to get me on scheduling, bro. You have to go elsewhere.
I'll find a way. I'll find a way. Johnny Rico. Oh, misses the cocoon on the crab, but that's all right. He's still going to secure the dragon, the more important objective, realistically.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you're a jungler, the skull crab is more important because, well,
junglers only care about scuttle crab.
Yeah, exactly. But Mountain spawned up and taken down by Viperio, and now it will be the Infernal, which spawns in around 5 minutes time. So Cloud or an Ocean in this one, and honestly, I think Cloud or Ocean, both very fruitful dragons and eventual soul for either team here. A lot of ultimates that want to be casted on cooldown, a lot of individual bonuses like Udyr's global cooldowns, and the amount of frontliners, Ocean, not too bad as well. Potential engage for Resolve here in the bottom side.
Yeah, they haven't got the flash onto Kun. He's locked down. He is going down, and that is the shutdown already picked up. Johnny Rico has made his way in as Hase underneath the tower falls to a double kill. Has to go up and come straight back down, and it's Meiku to get the kill. Resolve find 3 at the snap of their fingers.
Yeah, real nice engage. They know Kun still doesn't have flash available. Johnny Rico basically shows up to make it a free triple kill. Herald also being brought to the party, so this is going to be a full tower most likely here for the jungler and AD carry. A Resolve, if they want it though, we're actually going to leave. They want to go for the reset now for a little bit more tempo. Essence Reaver should be available for Meiku on this reset, I think crucially, whilst Kun should still be sitting on components. So they want to keep the laning phase going for as long as possible. It seems like they don't want the injection of gold now. They can abuse the fact that Jinx and Leona still have to lane into what is a losing lane at the moment. It seems like that's what they want to be able to do. As Kenruto doing all things, building items in lane. A very, very strong gank in the bottom side there from Resolve. There wasn't really much retort for Viperio.
I had no kind of response there, unfortunately. No flashes. Kun won't even be able to pick a plate up here. Although, no. I did deceptively more damage than I expected, honestly. But no, not going to be able to pick that plate up. It is close now towards that Kraken Slayer or Gale Force, depending. I think it's 625 gold here.
Yeah, with those components, 625. Or is it 425? I always forget.
No, it's 625. It's definitely not 425.
There isn't. Oh, it's a collector. That's 425, I think. With the combined.
Yes, collector is 425.
But yeah, is just a little bit away from that mythic pickup. Just tracking first items and mythics in general is a bit of an escape here from Resolve. Gordrinker picked up for Shader. And that's just about it for Viperio. Whereas I always call it the Frozen Fist, but I'm pretty sure that's actually the upgraded name. It's Frostfire Gauntlet, I believe.
Yes, yes.
The blue tank item for Udyr after the chem tank nerfs. It's just it's just better. It's a better item to pick up. And Trello's Battle Song here for Otter. No Moonstone. Moonstone still needs a couple more love tap buffs.
No, it doesn't.
Before it can be considered again as an item. Let me finish my sentence. But you're not wrong.
No, it doesn't. It needs removing.
It doesn't need a buff really. But yeah, you can see the pressure here from Resolve mounting up all of this vision. Hase could be in trouble.
Hase's in trouble. Dodges the Winter's Bite, pops the W. The teleports are coming in. They're just gonna have to sacrifice their support. Quick Arcane Impulse just to say, I see you, Hase, but I ain't helping from Topi. And that is 5 members committed to the bottom side of the map for just a kill on a support. Honestly, Hase can kind of be okay with that. Sure, they're going to lose this tower here, but Shader able to get some free time in the top side of the map. And, you know, they're not going to give anything else up. They did just burn double teleport for that. And Viperio just funneling gold onto the Renekton. Sure, Meiku gets first turret blood. And that will be a nice injection of gold onto that Lucian, as Otto has to rotate into the top side just to deal with this Renekton siege, while in the mid lane, Topi was able to pick a plate up and shove a wave in himself. So overall, I actually don't think Viperio lost out too badly on that.
All things considered, it could have been worse. I still think Resolve probably pulled ahead around, you know, sort of 750 to 1,000 gold, just because of how much of a gold injection it was just for the solo tower.
Yes.
Onto the Lucian and the kill for the assist gold. But certainly not a huge loss, or as huge a loss as it could have been.
I think it was more a good turn of plays afterwards for Viperio, after the tower went down, after the kill went down, just to kind of scrap what they could together on the map, and not blowing their teleports, because now we've got the dragon spawning up in 11 seconds time. Viperio already have most of their members on the map, and Shader with that teleport can join if needs be. There's only a couple of wards for him to go to, but if they want to contest this dragon, they can do it. They were able to pick up the first one, so it's not the end of the world for them to give it up. And I think that might just be the game plan for them. Although, I say it's stepping forwards. It's going to be a little bit too slow. They're pulling their teleport now, though, and Solar Flare is just going to hit absolutely no one, as the Call of the Forge Gods are going to come out, and that's going to be a triple knock-up. The Arcana Pulse is there. The Repel's used, and Viperio, I just kind of sung their praises about how well they played that last one. I think they probably could have just held those teleports.
Yeah, a bit of a half-hearted engage, attempt to contest or fight after the dragon goes down there from Viperio. Resolve a little bit out of position now because they were forced down and away from the dragon, and naturally away from the mid lane, but the tower isn't going to fall just yet. Just a little more chip damage going down.
That was quite a big chip.
Yeah, it was more than chip damage. But
it was a chunk.
It was a chunk. As Viperio now eyeing up the Rift Herald, maybe? Seems like it's the case, as Kenro used his ultimate. It's one of the few true engage tools that Resolve have. So Resolve are really strong and on spike right now, Meiku's items. And just the matter of fact of Udyr,
Hase.
Braum. Yeah, Hase's probably just dead.
Hase's just been having a really rough one.
Yeah.
Support life, 0-3. The traps have been placed down. It looks like Viperio just going to have to give this one up. And Hase just separated himself from the team, and that will cost him his life and his team. The Herald is Resolve able to pick that one up, and they're probably just going to slap that down in the mid lane. The pings are already going down. Meiku and Bakako able to pick up the wave.
Yeah, like you say, Hostage out of position. Resolve don't really have to even work that hard for it, which is the unfortunate thing for Viperio. But again, despite a curious start to this game, Resolve starting to fall back onto yesterday's characteristic that we saw from them. Ever so slowly. Not quite as dominating yet, but pulling ahead in gold for now. Viperio, though, of course, fell relatively far behind yesterday for making a comeback. So certainly capable of standing strong in these kind of positions. But Resolve certainly if anything is to go by from yesterday, a slightly more daunting opponent.
Well, at the 17-minute mark, Resolve are the team who are ahead right now. Like we said, the Essence Reaver was finished up for Meiku a little while ago, but is now closing in on the next item, the Moon Quiver and the pickaxe in the inventory. It's a 3,000 gold lead here or there, give about, to the side of Resolve. And, you know, it's definitely not as dominant. I think that's the big thing to kind of hit on here, is Resolve were incredibly dominant versus London, but Viperio have challenged them. They got that double kill in the bot lane, they caught off Meiku and FGG, and sure, they're ahead now. Sure, they're in a good position, but before that, it did look like Viperio were starting to challenge. They still got Tupi on his Xerath, and, you know, he's slowly ramping up himself. The big problem you've got if you're on the side of Viperio is that is a very fed Udyr. And at the moment, I don't think they really have the ability to kill him.
No, they've got some CC to work with. And granted, Udyr is, you know, a relatively linear champion, but when he starts to get some more points in that bear charge, that bear slap, he will start to move pretty quickly, and he can even dodge out on the Cocoon and the Zeraf stun too. It can start to get very oppressive, and like you say, the damage just won't be there for a little while. Only really working with a whole bunch of CC until Kumkum really hits that second item mark, until Topi, probably looking at Void Staff's second item if I had to take a guess at it. As Force of Nature just finished up as well for Bakako, so he's going to be incredibly tanky through the Zeraf. Looking for a play.
If they can find... No, not quick enough. I was close. I mean, Topi is doing damage to Otter, and Meikyo as well will eat a fair amount of damage from Topi. Meikyo's just finished up the Kraken Slayer, so he's got an entire item over Kumkum. Kumkum probably sitting on a fair amount of gold, though. Just kind of power farming up as much gold as possible to finish up that. No. Oh, okay. I thought there was way more gold on Kumkum. Oh, that is so tragic. Okay.
Yeah.
He is significantly behind Meikyo.
Yeah, he is. Not much to say. It's just Resolve funneled all the resources of that Herald initially, and then once they made the bottom lane play, committing 5, it looked almost a little bit overkill, but giving the Lucian all of this gold. I mean, he is realistically the core carry of this team composition here for Resolve. So it does make sense that they did what they did, and got the support of Otter on the Karma, and they've got the front line and the utility from Ornn and Braum. Viperio only, working with kind of early game tools on the top side, and then scaling aspects from their carries. Yeah, these didn't get going, so now she's going to really struggle if she can't find picks.
I mean, she hasn't finished an item. It's so tragic for Johnny Rico right now. I mean, you got the Force of Nature and the Frostfire Gauntlet onto Bakako, so it's so hard for them. Now, we are seeing Kumkum getting closer towards that Essence Reaver. Not Essence Reaver, sorry. Phantom Dancer, but it's still going to be a matter of buying time. Now, they're okay to give up that dragon. They're technically okay to give up the next if they really want to buy a bit more time and try to kind of stem the bleeding as much as possible. But we are looking at an Ocean Soul. It's going to be really rough for them to deal with an Ocean Soul if they don't, start to really snowball this game. So they've only got so much time. Expecting the next 4 minutes to start seeing some level of contest coming in from Viperio. We'll have to see what they're going to do. For the moment, they're just catching waves and keeping themselves in this game.
Yeah, and it's all they can really do right now. So patience is the name of the game. They did, of course, take that first dragon. So can have that little extra 5 minutes of respite, but eventually likely feel pressured into contesting the 4th dragon that Resolve can take, which will be the Soul. And Ocean Soul with a Karma, 3 frontliners, and an AD carry. Feels really, really oppressive to play against when you have a composition like Viperio's, where it's kind of CC, and you have to hope that you have the burst damage to murder somebody on the spot. And if you don't, well, you know what's going to happen. They will heal up.
Zeref's quite a quick champion. I never realized how fast his movement speed is.
Yeah, 395 for an artillery mage is pretty good, actually. Now that you mentioned
he floats around quite quick, although that's a quicker champion in the UDIT. So he is going to have to quickly throw out a shocking orb just to slow him down.
Shocking orb. I've got to remember, I don't see Zeref enough to know the ability names. Like, if you ask me about loads of champion ability names.
I had to remind myself yesterday, but it's Arcano Pulse on the queue.
I remember the
Destruction.
Yeah, I was about to say, I remember the W. I have Destruction because it's just
Do you remember the R?
Cool name. Arcane Barrage.
No, it's a Right of the Arcane.
Right of the Arcane. Oh.
Bio Arcane Barrage is someone else.
That sounds like Kog'Maw.
Kog'Maw's Living Artillery.
Ah. Oh, hello.
Oh, hold on. Kenruto. Eye Destruction. There's the Arcane Pulse. Johnny Rico will find the kill.
There you go. Topi using his ability as well to chain CC up with the Cocoon there onto Kenruto.
That's nice. A bit of gold injected. We were talking about buying time. Yeah. Find yourself a quick pick every now and then. Also, even just helps kind of alleviate some of this pressure.
Even if it's onto the Ornn, it's all you really need right now. Is just that extra little bit of gold injection, that little bit of extra time. Johnny Rico only now has finished up his Essence Reaver. Probably done it on his last outing, so 22 minutes, a minute ago. It's not the best pace to be setting when the Udyr on the enemy team is 2.5 items into the game. I'm and a half ahead of you. Certainly not what you want, but...
Sorry, Night Harvester. You really threw... I was like, wait, who's built an Essence Reaver recently?
Oh, did I say Essence Reaver? Oh,
yeah, I was like, wait. Mika's had his for a while. Well, Makey's had his for a while.
It's just the color scheme is kind of the same, so maybe I just...
I'll give you that. They're both slashing, edgy weapons.
Yeah. Night Harvester's an axe. Essence Reaver is a...
Scythe.
Scythe? Yeah. It's been kind of quiet.
Kraken Slayer is a harpoon, which actually thematically makes sense. They might have just found themselves a kill here.
Oh, he fell
Making flashes and cleanses. They're looking to turn it around. They get themselves the knockout, the flash onto Tupi, trying to kill Tupi, trying to get away. They got the lock, they got the stun. This is going to be the end of 2 players here. Kunkun unable to do anything as it's a double kill onto Meiku.
Yeah, Meiku, despite the one being engaged onto, and even technically, I feel like he failed his flash. I think he wanted to go over the wall, but it didn't actually matter in the end. He still escaped Viperio's grasp. Managed to turn it back around with the rest of his team collapsing in there. Johnny Rico now has to make a miracle happen onto this Baron. Has to steal it away. Remember, both level 12, but the smite damage is now 900. Both these junglers working with the exact same number anyway.
I mean, Kukum doing a fair amount of damage there.
Over the wall,
Going for the knockup. He's going to repel over the wall. Johnny Rico's caught inside the pit. He goes for the steal. Unable to land it. Baron and Spider secured by Bakako.
Yeah, and on top of that, a big lizard thing in the other pit on the opposite side of the wall, of the map, rather. Going to be picked up. Meiku. Oh, was he just camping just outside the control ward range of that vision? That's why Viperio opted for that play. Tried to catch him out, but you see the Q from Braum actually clips on to the Xerath, and it means that once it is on top of me, Bear slaps him once, autos him a couple more times. He's locked up, and Hase just trying to buy time. Johnny Rico goes in too soon, pressured perhaps by the diving threat of Kenryo, flashing over the wall with Meiku, and drops too quickly into the pit.
Honestly, Ornn is such a ridiculous champion. The amount of damage he just did to Kum is actually just illegal.
We'll never forget the infamous call. Jake, the assassin, bruiser, mage, hyper carry.
I'm genuinely shocked that like it's still like this. I know he's not like the most meta top player at the moment, but he's still pretty comfortable as like a pickup, right?
Yeah.
Like I am genuinely shocked, but he just is the same. Like they're just like, yeah, this is perfectly fine. Brittle should do, you know, half an AD carry's health bar.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable personally. You ask me.
I mean, look, I'm like everyone else. I don't like AD carries. They kind of deserve it, but at the same time, come on, man.
Yeah, no, Ornn is a little bit ridiculous, but for now, Kenryo piling it pretty well, making it all the more oppressive. Resolve, splitting Baron in between 2 lanes here, not falling for the cardinal sin of pulling into 3 lanes. It's how you often end up getting caught out. And they've opened up the base already.
Yeah, they've already taken this inhibitor, well, inhibitor tower. They're trying to finish the inhibitor. Meiku's actually got the Wormfall and Sacrifice now upgraded, so is going to be doing even more damage as the cannon will finish up the inhibitor. They can probably just rotate into this mid lane now as they took the tier 2 there.
Yeah.
Tier 2 in the top side is still up, and it looks like Resolve just going to shove one last wave into the face of Viperio.
Yeah.
And just back off now. They're 3 minutes off the Ocean Soul. They've got the Baron to work with, so they can go for those resets. Or they can look to try and crack open some turrets. We'll see what they're going to look to do here.
Yeah, there's not too much time left on the Baron buff. They couldn't take the slightly closer to base rotation because there's so much threat over the wall of Leona, Elise, and whatnot. So it's very respectable. Ornn could pull the trigger here. Isn't quite going to. Resolve just rotating all the way to the top side. I actually am a pretty big fan of these rotations coming out from Resolve. They keep 4 on the bottom side with Ornn in the mid lane, so you can kind of only half rotate and still be involved with an ultimate, whilst also reducing the amount of flank angles that your core can get hit by. And then they effectively flip the map and do the exact same thing. Ornn stays in the mid lane, catches the waves high. Resolve, ooh, that was a lot of damage though. Pushing high up. Now Baron buff dissipated. But again, Viperio, they only have like 2 angles of engage right in front, or if they can try and split behind, but there's already vision there to stop a potential flank.
Viperio thinking about trying to find something. If someone goes directly through, Johnny Rico will find them with a quick cocoon.
just going to take the reset. Go and look.
Viperio just going to quite happily take this bot wave inhibitor wait farm. They are going to have to look to try and contest this dragon, though. 1 minute 40 until that comes up, and at that point, it is going to be a little problematic. There's Johnny Rico going to get found out by Ken Ruto. He goes up into the air, has now got his support with him, so he's going to be nice and safe.
Hopefully, for Kumkum's sake, thank you, observers, reading my mind. See how close Kumkum is to that Lord Dominic's. I actually can't remember the combined cost, but I think
he doesn't have.
Close.
Does he have the?
He's got the last whisper, so I think
he's got the last whisper.
He still needs around 600 gold or so.
I actually can't remember what it is with just.
I know we aggravate our observer with this kind of stuff because he's an AD carry main, so he probably knows the combined cost that he does. So it looked like Crit Cloak and maybe a pot picked up.
What we should do is just get him to open paint and then paint in the number.
Yeah, I wonder, can our observer actually like drawing board on the screen?
No, she can't. He's not using that program.
That would be funny.
No, we don't want to give him that much power. God damn, we don't want to give him that much power. He's got the Crit Cloak now, so I think he's actually got enough for Last Whisper.
Yeah.
Oh, here it comes. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, and you can see the nice zoom out there. Viperio just don't have any vision in the area. Resolve have done a really, really good job of just making sure there's no way for Viperio to ever really walk out and lay down any vision, really. And Dragon spawning in 5 seconds, Resolve, they can just take their time with this one if they really want to.
Honestly, looks like Viperio giving it up. They don't feel comfortable walking into this jungle blind. That is going to be sold to Resolve. And it's definitely been less decisive than our last game with Resolve. They were incredibly fast-paced versus London, and I think that, if anything, is a bit of a nod towards Viperio, because they did challenge them, but it honestly feels like now Resolve got into control, they are just choke-holding this game. This is kind of going back to what we were seeing in previous metas, where the games were kind of more decided by just the slow burn and choking out the enemy team.
Yeah, it feels reminiscent of Spring Resolve in a way, this game. Face check from Kenruo, he knows his job. Not afraid to tank up CC, especially with members right behind him. And Resolve just eyes for the Baron, and I think rightfully so. They don't really want to siege without it. They do definitely get a little bit outranged by Viperio's composition between the Jinx and Xerath, so they do know they need the Baron, they require the Baron to successfully siege, most likely. Again, just going to slow bleed Viperio potentially into a decision. Just controlling the waves. They've got the bot wave as well, with the supers still spawning. And last supers still in the bottom lane, as you just heard the call out. The red inhibitor will be respawning, but finally the Baron is started up.
It's going to have to be one hell of a fight from Viperio to hold this. They do have the poke from 2P, who I don't think has actually thrown out a single right of the arcane all game long, actually. You have to be careful for Ken Ruto. He's going to look to upgrade. I assume this is going to be Bakugo's item. Yep, gives him the Frozen Fist. Big wave of minions is now inside the base of Viperio, and that will take that inhibitor. So Resolve know they can play this slow because this wave is so threatening. Now, Shader has actually gone to go deal with this, and that might just be the go button for Resolve. There are teleports available. There's a couple of places they can teleport in. That's going to be everything getting thrown out onto Kumkum. He tries to jump away. The traps are laid down. He hasn't actually been able to fire off too much as the solar flare has been thrown down. Kumkum putting out some damage here. Actually, a fair amount as he continues to fire into Ken Ruto. Zenith Blade does connect momentarily as the solar flare was used. The wave is held, and actually the teleport is held as well by Shader. So they're going to use themselves a quick heal up just to make sure they don't go too low here. But it might just be back to Baron for Resolve. And a couple of members are going to have to go heal. I say half HP spotted out as they're teleporting members in. Here's the right of the arcane now, raining down on the Resolve members in the pit. And magic resistance has been shredded, and Meiku loses a lot of health, so has to shield himself as Hase gonna get caught out by the knockup. The traps are being laid down. Kunkun firing off for the moment, trying to get the damage off, but Meiku's doing some serious damage. His shoulder will lock him down for the moment, trying to get a little bit more. That's an Arcano Pulse onto free as Kunkun just continues to free fire. Bakugo hunts him down though, and Kunkun is caught out, absolutely obliterated as Resolve just melt through everyone, and it's a triple kill into Meiku.
Yeah, Toppy and Kunkun both dealing so much damage, but the shielding, the healing from the Ocean Soul and the Redemption and the Karma is just too much for Viperio to deal with. They're getting engaged on again, and I think just gonna get run over. Game, match, set, done. Resolve probably gonna just clean this one up. I think Viperio had a good enough shot at it in the early game, but I think the Elise pick didn't quite get going here for them. Resolve gonna take this one home.
They absolutely are. 33 minutes on the clock. It definitely wasn't as decisive as their first game yesterday, but Resolve are going to be happy with their 2-0 week here. And the first week of the UKLC is Johnny Rico going to be able to repel to survive and not get his KDA hurt even more.
Yeah, and Resolve looking pretty good here, I will say. Of course, Viperio were openly very excited about picking up their first game yesterday as a win. And probably sort of similar expectations after seeing how dominant Resolve were against a team like London. Weren't necessarily expecting to come out to win, but at least maybe have a good showing. And I think they can maybe say that they had that in some of the opening acts of this game. But
yeah,
unfortunately, I think just too many dragons, the healing, the utility from that composition, and just the way that Resolve funneled all the gold into Meiku. They just played it out well enough that Kumkum and Toppy couldn't come online with their hyper carries.
Yeah, a very... I would say definitely not a fast-paced game, but still a pretty convincing win there from Resolve. There were moments in the early game, but we'll have a quick chat with those guys anyway coming up after that. So for now, it's time for a quick break, and when we're back, we'll actually have a quick conversation with Meiku in the bot lane about that game. So we'll see you in a moment.